empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Ready to explore right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Welcome to the AfterMat, your source for WWE pay-per-view recaps. I'm your host, the People's Champ Cal, and alongside me, as always, I have my tag team partner, the Glamazon Delisha. What's going on, Delisha?
Hey, feeling a little bit under the weather today, but couldn't miss the show.
And joining us again for one of the big pay-per-views, we have our big-time, Big Zamboni, the Road Raider himself, Mr. Tom Zambino. What's going on, buddy?
Hi. I was also under the weather today, but I'm here to bring my trademark excitement.
As always. So before we get into the pay-per-view, we can talk about... let's say how the people in chat. We got Tom. Well, Tom, we just had to. But we got Dawn. What's going on, Dawn? Big Time Gaming. Arrington, who's Phoenix YT. Typical, how are you? Thanks. That's what we got for now. And remember, if you guys want to call in, let us know. We will try to get you in at the end of the show to hear your overall score, but also your lows and high points of the evening. But let's start off with Alicia first before we're going in. Just try something new out. When you saw the card, when you saw the pay-per-view card, how did you feel about the pay-per-view? Were you optimistic? Were you like, oh, we kind of seen these matches before? Or how did you feel about it?
Oh yeah, first and foremost, just want to apologize if you can hear the lawnmower in the background. They chose a pretty opportune time to start doing that. So it literally just started when we got on. But overall, I was actually pretty excited. It was mainly some of the SmackDown shows that was getting me excited. I was pretty interested in the Mella Becky Charlotte match to see how that would play out. I wanted to see the Samoa Joe and AJ match because that was getting interesting. And yeah, as far as Raw went, I'm trying to think. There wasn't really much I was looking forward to except for the outcome of Roman versus of Brock, just to see how it would all play out. But there wasn't really much on the Raw side that I was like really hoping for.
Same question for you, Tom. How did you feel about when you saw the card play out? I mean, well, not play out, but when you first read the card for the overall SummerSlam show.
I had no strong feelings one way or the other. There were matches. I just wanted to see Brock lose.
Which is crazy because you are our Brock correspondent, so I figured you'd want to see that. But, you know, and I know that you're a big Elias fan, too, and he wasn't really on the card per se. We can get to that a little bit later. But, yeah, so, yeah, I felt the same way. I'm like, when I saw the card, I was like, I remember when I was promoting this, I was saying, hey, you know, last year's SummerSlam was the only A grade I've given all of AfterMat Season 1. And I think this Season 2, I don't think I've given anything that high as of yet. So and that includes the WrestleMania is for Season 1, right? Never mind. Yeah, so like so it wasn't anything really exciting for us. So I guess we'll play out and see how it happens. In the chat, Sky says what's going on, Sky? He says he has no strong feelings at all either for the card when he first read it or saw it. So I mean I didn't see any of the pre-show because I was actually doing my Kingslaying show. We're doing Fortnite, I think. So did either of you guys catch the pre-show?
Yeah, as per usual, I had it on in the background as I was making dinner. The first match, I believe, was Zelina Vega and Andrade versus Rusev and Lana. It was pretty standard. Could have been on a SmackDown match. I mean, nothing bad, nothing overwhelmingly great. Zelina won with a roll-up to Lana with their foot on the ropes, which the ref could not see. Good thing we also did not get an interference in English, which I was pretty happy about because I think that's going by the wayside. Next match after that was, I believe, the Cruiserweights title championship, which was pretty solid. They usually always pretty much actually since Triple H took over 205, they've been getting more consistent with their matches, and Cedric and Drew are just probably two of their top performers, and they just put on a great show. Cedric retained his title, which I was a little shocking to me. It looked like they were giving Drew the big push, and we haven't had a heel champion in a while, and he's pretty good, especially now that he's hooked up with Jack Gallagher and Brian Kendrick, or I'm sorry, the Brian Kendrick. They're a pretty solid team supporting Joe. So I feel like somewhere down the line, I think Drew's gonna get the title off of Cedric, and we're gonna see Cedric chase. And the last one could have been another match that we just saw on Raw, was the B Team versus the Revival. It was a match. The B Team retained. I don't know what we're doing here, but once again, the Raw tag team scene is in influx, and I don't know. People are into cheering the B Team's theme song, which I absolutely hate. But so they're getting a slight push for now until a better team comes along.
Until they are fed to the AOP, I think. The Authors of Pain they're going to be fed to, and I think that's what's going to happen. Tom, any thoughts on the pre-show?
I was watching Animal House. Something well worth the 2 hours rather than the pre-show. Pre-show is a waste of time. Just watch Animal House instead.
Every time. Just every time when WWE pre-show starts, watch Animal House.
Yep, just play Animal House on WWE Network instead of the pre-show. It would literally be better for everyone than listening to that little weird guy talk with Renee Young.
I was going to say, side note, me and Tom and I are wearing the same shirt. Actually,
oh, I don't know who that is. I don't want you guys promoting other brands. Is that our competitor there? I don't even know who that is, but
it's the closest thing to a wrestling shirt I have, okay?
You should duct tape the W upwards. Oh, and I think I would hear that our fact checker from the rafters is that Joe in the background?
Yeah, he's here for a little bit.
I'm sure. All right, if he wants to join in later, let us know. Like I said, if anyone wants to call in, welcome. Also, Will, how are you doing, Will? Joining us in the chat. If anyone wants to call in later, let us know. We'd love to hear your low point, your high point, and your overall grade at the end of the show. We'll drop the link in the chat. We'll ask you to be respectful and join one by one if anyone does want to join, that is. All right. So let's kick off the actual card itself for SummerSlam, and it began with what ended the last pay-per-view, I believe. I can't even remember what the last pay-per-view was, but it was an Iron Man match between Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler. This time it was the same match for the IC title and had Dean Ambrose in Seth Rollins' corner and Drew McIntyre in Ziggler's corner. And this was a great match. I thought it was a good match. It was pretty even. What I didn't like about the match was that when they went to the outside, it was like Ambrose kept getting into like Drew McIntyre's face. I don't see Ambrose intimidating anybody. He's like, what, 4'2" or something? Like I just don't see him being intimidating at all. Especially when he got into Drew McIntyre's face, didn't seem anything. And then Drew didn't really attack until the end of the match when like he had to take off his jacket first because I guess that's how it works for him to attack. But I mean, I know Tom is a big fan. If he wants to recap the match, he can give us the Rollins report.
Oh man, you put me on the spot like I didn't just skip through this match watching it later.
This is Rollins. You love Seth Rollins.
Yeah, but this match was nothing. It was two guys putting on an aerial assault. There was a lot of really cool moves between two really athletic dudes with a couple of bruisers on the sidelines. Rollins, I think, did the curb stomp or whatever the hell he's calling it these days. Pinned Ziggler pretty cleanly, and we all went home. Yeah,
it was a good match to start out. Like, they usually start out with an Intercontinental or U.S. title match back in pay-per-views for a while now. But, last pay-per-view, they ended it with that. And I thought it was actually a good match. I really enjoy watching these guys wrestle. And they're a great, duo to go against each other. But it's kind of weird. I thought they'd probably let Ziggler win again and have Rollins go chase for the the Universal title eventually a little bit down the line. But I guess
that was the biggest problem I had with the match there, Cal. That they're keeping Rollins kind of buried there with the IC title. He's above that right now. He should be fighting up there with Reigns instead of whoever they're going to send towards him, or fighting with Ambrose without the title on the line. The IC title just seems needless to him right now.
Right. What do you think, Alicia?
I pretty much agree. I mean, these two, I already knew we were going to get like a solid match out of them just because of their work ethic. I didn't really care about this match because I kind of don't really care about Dolph Ziggler. Sorry, Dolph. I respect him as a wrestler, but I don't really care about him per se. And yeah, Rollins should be in that main event title picture. But he was elevated in the IC title while the Universal title was, basically out of commission. So he was there as that placeholder to be that main eventer when their main eventer was not there. I don't know. And I like, Uncle Dean out of jail look. It's kind of cool. It's a little different. As long as they don't keep him as that kooky lunatic fringe. If we stay on this, I don't know, like dangerous lunatic fringe, then we could have something. But if he goes back to that wacky lunatic fringe, then it's awesome.
Yeah. The ideal state would be stop calling him the lunatic fringe because that is the dumbest nickname I've ever heard. It makes zero sense. Stop it. They need to stop.
So yeah, is he on the fringe of lunacy? Like, I don't get it.
That's what I don't understand.
I'm not sure.
Is he a lunatic or is he on the fringe?
I was just using the verbiage of the WWE. I
know. We're not blaming you for anything for them. Also, I think they're both nouns, aren't they? A lunatic and a fringe. So don't think that it should be lunacy fringe or something, Dean Ambrose? Because otherwise, it's just all nouns lined up, pretty much. I don't know. I'm going to write them a strongly worded letter about their grammar. But we will take them to our next. Hey, Don Demir, welcome. How are you doing, buddy? We'll take us to our next match, which happens to be, I think, a tag team match again. Yeah, with the New Day. And I think it was represented by, Xavier Woods and Big E Langston, and against the Bludgeon Brothers, who I thoroughly enjoy. It kind of brings them back to the old school monster. Back in the day, like when I like the Natural Disasters and all those guys. It kind of reminds me of those kind of tag teams that we had back in the day. And they are a lot more athletic than big men were back in the day too. Like Eric Rowan can do some. Luke Harper can do some crazy stuff. Like he did like a suicide plancha or whatever it was, and then he also did like one of those springboards or whatever you call that over the top. Those are cool. And the New Day always gives us solid matches. As much as I don't like them, I love Kofi. But so Delisha, we'll go to you. You're a big New Day fan, I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah, I mean, again, the match is pretty solid. Like I said before, the New Day is going to put on a good match. As we were saying in our chat yesterday, I mean, I like the Bludgeon Brothers. I feel like they haven't, I can't think of the word, developed their character enough. So I feel like, oh, I know what these guys are all about. Well, I know they're all about destroying people, but it's like I just can't get into them as much as I would like to. I don't know, because I guess we have big men all the time coming in who just destroy, but I need a little bit more than that. I'm not sure. I'm still contemplating if I like this match or not. They were doing some good spots, especially with Xavier. I think it was. I don't know if it was a forearm or not. I think it was off the top rope or off the apron onto the floor, which I don't know. I forget what the child started chanting. I don't know if they started chanting ECW or not, which was not relevant. But that's a Brooklyn crowd for you.
No, I think ECW was for the NXT event when they pulled out. That was when they said the ECW for the main event of.
No, I could have sworn there was ECW chants.
Oh, maybe then.
Okay. Anyway, I do the ending. I guess was the most logical one with the Bludgeon Brothers trying to bludgeon them with their fake sledgehammers or hammers or whatever they're called.
Mallets.
Mallets. Okay.
I think they're mallets.
I guess to keep either team from losing or winning cleanly, and to keep it going a little bit more. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Before we go on to Tom for his thoughts on the match, I'd probably like to see I don't know if the Usos are still on SmackDown, but them going to Raw for that. We're talking about the previous match of the B team. Besides the Authors of Pain the B team being fed to Authors of Pain, maybe the Usos over and Raw would be kind of cool. But to go to chat real quick, we have Big Time Gaming saying that the opening match is a precursor to Ambrose heel turn, which I pretty much know is probably going to come. And Don Demir says that lunatic and fringe are two mutually exclusive terms. They have, so he's just one of those few lunatics. I don't know. I still don't believe it. I don't like the grammar for it. That's all. But he doesn't. He also does not like the Bludgeon Brothers name. Why not just call them Harper and Rowan? Calling them Harper and Rowan would be cool, but tag teams need names. It seems like because they have Sheamus and Cesaro and stuff like that, and
they tried calling them Harper and Rowan, and no one cared.
Right, and I like them when they were the part of the Wyatt family and all that. That was kind of cool. So having a name, I love stable names. I love tag team names. The one tag team I know we don't only talk about NXT on the show, but War Machine got changed to War Raiders. I guess that it's an homage to our stellar co-host Tom Zambino. They saw his show and they love the Road Raiders, so they let's call it the War Raiders. But yeah, I don't know. Tag team names are cool. I just kind of weird names. I really love the Undisputed Era as a stable name. That is a fantastic, and they go by what is it, Riley and Fish or Riley and Strong, whoever they have. But the Undisputed Era is a fantastic. It's on the not to the elevated level of things of the Four Horsemen like that, but it's the same kind of mystique to it, where you have Evolution and that kind the name is but not I'm not talking about legacy wise or anything like that. I'm just talking about the mystique of the name can hit that kind of level of Undisputed Era. Four Horsemen, Fortune, Evolution, all that kind of stuff. I like that. But Bludgeon Brothers, I don't mind. I don't mind that nickname. I love alliteration. If you guys know anything about my channel, I love alliteration, and that's great. Tom, your thoughts about this match, tag team match? Oh yes, the Bludgeon Brothers won by DQ by bludgeoning the other guy. But yeah,
no, the New Day won by DQ.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry. Bludgeon Brothers got DQ'd, so New Day won. That's why we have our fact checker in the rafters.
In a DQ finish, no one gives a shit about the winner. Let's all be honest here. Unless the title changes hands because of it, no one cares. But speaking of not caring, this match was a thing that I really didn't care about. I want the New Day to go away, or turn heel, or break up, or do something that's not throwing pancakes. They're lame at this point. They're tired. Go away. The Bludgeon Brothers would have been a lot cooler going against the Bar. So I was really disappointed that didn't happen. That would have been a much more entertaining match. Could have, sparked the breakup of the New Day, but T-shirts and pancakes,
Yeah, that's what I said. That's not gonna happen. They sell too many T-shirts.
I agree with you completely. We gotta say hi to Entertain for joining and Casual Relaxing. Welcome. Not a fan of the New Day matchup. The bar would the bar would have been better. Exactly, Big Ten. That's what Tom Zamino just said. He agrees with you completely. Yeah, I don't know. Like at Bludgeon Brothers, I just think it's a cool name, but I don't know. I like their whole gimmick where they come out with those masks and stuff. I love that whole thing about when the mask that they had for the Wyatt family and all that. That was cool. So I love that kind of stuff.
Their music is cool.
Yeah, and their
music and their entrance is pretty cool.
And Bootios. Yes, don't forget Bootios. Yes. So I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know about the tag team division. Like I had said, tag team division is coming back, but this was a step back for the. We love those New Day Uso matches. They were fantastic. The Hardys also involved in those matches. Those are great. But this, I think, brought it a step back with, I don't know, whatever just happened. Whatever. I don't know. But I guess we're going to see a rematch. They're all going to be locked in Hell in the Cell. We're going to see Kofi do a crazy spot off the cell. Mark my words, this is going to happen.
Can we just have the Bar beat the crap out of the New Day so badly that they get replaced into a Hell in a Cell match? Because that would be a whole hell of a lot more entertaining.
That, and they beat them so hard that they killed Daniel Bryan.
Really?
And Nicholas. Because I don't know where Nicholas is, but he's still one half the tag team champion.
Hey, Cal, you got to be careful. You could pop your shoulder out reaching that hard.
So let's go on to the next match. And for the next match, we have... Oh, if we can even call it a match, we had the Monster Among Men, Braun Strowman defending his Money in the Bank briefcase against, or contract, I should say, against Kevin Owens. The match was a minute and a half long. Squash. I don't even know what happened. Running power slam. And that was it. So, and like I called it, I'm like, the reason why he did that is probably because he's going to cash in later. We'll get to that later in this evening when we get to that main event. But I said they're probably going to have the short match just because if he has a chance of cashing in this night, that's what it's for. So we'll go to our resident monster man, Tom Zamino. How'd you think? What do you think of this match?
It was a squash. It did squashy things. Kevin Owens is getting buried pretty bad. He should probably just, take a beating bad enough that he, disappears for a few months and comes back stronger, because at this point he's gotten his ass kicked so many times. He just needs to take a break for a few months so we kind of forget that he looks like a wimp right now. But yeah, it's a squash.
Before I go to Delisha, some things in the chat. Entertaining says that the Bludgeon Brothers are basically the Wyatts, but they do love their entrance. Sky saying that they're not credible. The New Day are still sorry. Sky saying the New Day is still credible. Big Time saying is agreeing they're credible, but not a good matchup against Harper and Rowan. Eric thinks he feels bad for KO, like most of us do, because he does take a lot of big spots and just doesn't get rewarded for any of it anymore. The match was a disservice to Kevin Owens, according to Big Time. And down to mentions Kevin Owens got those hands. Hey, Sweetness, how are you? Hey, Sweetness, how are you? I'm making sure you heard that, Willow Firefox, so you can't start drama in the chat. Willow Firefox. I said hi to Sweetness, so you don't. All right. Joke from earlier today. So let's go to Delisha. What'd you think about this match?
Pretty much what they said in comments. Disrespectful to Kevin Owens, but when it's Braun Strowman, you're just gonna get fed to him. I don't know. It's like maybe KO was double parked somewhere and he had to go. I don't know what happened. I was kind of hoping like KO would just be like some wily, KO semantics and just either pull his exit or at least get close to it, to where you're like, oh, this could actually happen. But WWE wouldn't give that to us. So yeah.
All right. Welcome, Zay Merriweather. This is not Dragon Ball's Universe. I know you're usually coming for Dragon Ball's Universe, but this is the wrestling talk show. Entertain says KO needs to get to shape. Fans love him, but the WWE feels the same way. He doesn't look intimidating at all. Yeah. He's great on the mic.
I was going to say, despite his appearance, he's in pretty good shape. You can't just take these bumps or do what he does in the ring and not be in shape. So I don't think it's a matter of
shape, but it's
look at Samoa Joe, which we'll get to later. I mean, he doesn't look like an atypical person in shape, but he can. I'm not getting in the ring with Samoa Joe or KO for that matter. But I feel like he's one of those like guys where he has so much talent, but again, we're at this point where WWE is not sure what to do with him. I think really we're just at the mercy of creative team.
Right. It was stupid. I mean, he's a great worker. He's great on the mic. And like I said, he's very athletic for a big man. He just doesn't have the look that WWE wants. And that's what I feel. We can say that a lot of guys. Yeah.
I disagree, though. I think they know exactly what to do with him right now because Sami Zayn got injured. they threw KO into his role of just being the ragdoll.
Yeah. Entertaining says maybe the shape is the wrong term. He needs to look lean. Yeah. He doesn't have the WWE champion look as what. I'm not saying I believe in that look, but I'm saying is what WWE said. The whole Vince McMahon big man needs to be like champ kind of thing. But we're going to go to our next match, which I know is the match that we heard earlier that Delisha was looking forward to, and that's a triple threat match for the SmackDown Women's Championship, which featured champion Carmella against Becky Lynch and unfortunately Charlotte Flair. Well, let's go ahead and let Delisha take this over because she was looking forward to it.
Well, the main reason I was looking forward to it because I wanted to see how they would play out the friend angle between Becky and Charlotte. Much like on Raw with Sasha and Bayley, they've been slightly building towards like a little like feud between them of strong competitors. Becky had her one-on-one shot to get the title back, and then of course here comes Charlotte coming back into the title picture because she has to be the star of everything, as that's what we were getting played as in the story, and Carmella was just cannon fodder for that story. Sorry, girl. I feel like the match had its slow points, and of course we always get our usual Charlotte miss during something off top rope, whether it's a moonsault or a I think it's a double axel. I don't know, one or the other. She's always missing that. As we were saying in the chat yesterday, that's now her signature move when it comes to matches. And especially pay-per-views. So Charlotte, I wish she would clean that up. And Mella was doing her normal heel attacks in the ring, yelling. I'm pretty sure she said "I'm the champ" like 87,000 times. But she's that annoying champion that we just hate, which is what she's supposed to do. But again, the story here with Charlotte and Becky, they kept getting in each other's faces. I don't know. Okay, in the beginning of the match, I think Carmella pushed Charlotte and it hit Becky. And then she kept asking, like, why did you hit me? And I was like, well, even if it wasn't by accident, you're in a match, so she should be hitting you. But I digress. But unfortunately, actually, this match planned out exactly how I said it would be in the beginning when I was talking to my friend Matt. I said, I really want Becky to win because she deserves it, but I'm pretty sure by some way, I think Becky's going to get Carmella in the disarmer, and then Charlotte's going to naturally select her and then pin them for the title. And that's exactly what happened, which hardly ever happens to me. I hardly ever get these predictions right. That's usually Cal's forte. So I was happy with myself. But of course, Charlotte was the women's champion, and then we get the whole big hug celebration. So happy for you. And then I'm going to punch you in the face at the end, which had the crowd in a riot, including me at home, because I was like, yes, this is what Sasha and Bayley should have been, but done right here on the SmackDown brand. So I'm really looking forward to how they're going to play this one out. The crowd was with it because they all wanted Becky to win. She's had the fans in her corner since, I guess you could say since day one. I don't know. But especially since the last Money in the Bank when she once again was barely almost champion again and then didn't get it. So it's like they're with Becky on that frustration train. So they're going to be in her corner. And I'm pretty excited about this. And Mella, I don't know what's going to happen to her. She might fall down by the wayside, but she'll be fine.
All right. So before we go to Tom, we got some new people in chat as well as a great discussion going on in the chat. Sky brings up the fact that everyone's so focused on what happened to KO, but why aren't we focusing on what happened to how they're destroying Braun Strowman's character? They need to give him real competition match with people who think that we know he will beat or forcing him into tag team matches. Big Time says this is his match of the night choice. Entertain says Braun's character is well built, but no one can really go up against him at the moment. Hey, Avengers, how are you doing? Hey, Halo, how are you as well? Sky said the outcome of this match that we're talking about, the women's champion, was so obvious that when Charlotte won, he's like, oh, really? He meant it sarcastically. Maybe Avengers to answer your question, but we're currently just talking about WWE, not UFC. But yeah, there is a UFC fighter coming up later, that pay-per-view. Big Time saying, Sky, that Braun is a victim of the WWE doing a good job. They built Strowman up to be so strong on paper that no one can really win against him, and he's too green to carry the strap, which I agree with as well. So before we go over to Tom, I'm also going to put in, wait, he gets that, but even Finn Balor gave him some trouble, yeah. You know what? I do feel that this was a great match. I'm a huge fan of Becky Lynch and Carmella. Charlotte, you guys know I'm not a fan of either. But I was hoping Becky would win. I didn't think she'd win. Like Big Time said last night, Carmella is basically a placeholder for the true champ, Charlotte, to retain her, to get back her championship or reclaim her championship. But what we thought was going to happen with Becky happened, and I'm happy that happens. But we'll see how that plays out because they have ways to ruin the storyline. As Felicia always says, they can't do two women's storylines simultaneously properly. So we'll see what happens as it plays out. So what do you think about this, Tom?
Well, first, as a random note, thank God they dropped that obnoxious New York accent from Carmella. I'm so glad they got rid of that. It was so terrible. Anyway, so it was a recurring theme of the night. I'm kind of curious whether you guys know the answer. Was this like face paint night or something? I don't understand the eye makeup.
I think it was like to play homage to Glow and all that kind of stuff. Maybe it was an anniversary for the Glow Orange Lady Wrestling because a lot of that face paint was reminiscent of Glow Wrestling, I think.
I see. Anyway, this finish was telegraphed, as Sky said, once Charlotte was added. And to be fair, Delisha, I don't think with those kind of moves there was any hope of hitting them. It's going to miss every time. Those two were separated so she could land. So the moons. I actually texted Delisha, are we just going to keep ignoring the fact that she misses every time? Like zero contact at all. There's not even like a brush against someone. Like it's just zero contact, feet land on the floor, nothing. But at least she's got to go just watch tape of Lita. Lita falls off the top rope better than anyone. Charlotte jumps. You get that extra air. You have to flip. You land. Nothing happens. But the most interesting part about this match was Becky flipping out at the end, which was fantastic. Seeing Charlotte get whipped on the side of the ring was fantastic, and I love that she turned heel, yet everyone was cheering their asses off.
Yeah, and when Charlotte won, there was a lot of booing, and that was great to hear because I hate Charlotte. So, whatever. Hopefully, I think Becky will finally. I don't know when we'll see her win the championship, but hopefully we do see her win the championship relatively soon. Might be a while though. All right, so our next match was a rematch of several matches we've had back in the company that we do not talk about. This match has probably happened 47 times in the company that we do not talk about. But now we see Samoa Joe in the form of where, he's like that. He was like that heel that wears a suit, but he doesn't wear a suit. Like the kind of arrogant guy, but not so much. He played the family angle very well. I thought the build-up was pretty good, like reminiscent of what we used to see. But the action wasn't as good as what we used to see in the other company that we won't name. That was more fast-paced. We saw leaner, more in shape Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe can still move, but he's a lot bigger than he was back in the other company. I felt like this match was in slow motion. AJ Styles was slowed down so much in this match. Seeing him lift him up for the Styles Clash was painful to watch because he used to hit it easily back in the other company. It was an okay match. A lot of people think this might be the match of the night, but I feel like Samoa Joe's lack of, ring presence or whatever. I don't know how to say it because he has ring presence, but ability to move or work in the ring properly or as well as he used to be able to, kind of took away from this match. But it did have a good ending where he, Samoa Joe called out AJ's wife in the audience that caused AJ to snap. AJ retained the championship, though he did get disqualified and lose by hitting Samoa Joe with the chair. But it was a good finish. He was bleeding. There was a nice moment we saw towards the end of the match where his daughter's like, "Daddy," I don't know if that was scripted or not, but she was like, "Daddy, you're bleeding." I can't be scripted because I don't think they wanted to have him bleed. Obviously. So that was a good moment. A lot of you guys texted me and messaged me in the group chat saying, "Oh, that guy in the background ruined it." But I thought it was a great moment anyway. That was a really good moment. I thought it was nice. We have some of AJ facing Bobby and Joe for the WWE Championship next year. Bobby Roode and Joe. Yeah, that would be cool. And James Storm coming out and helping. See, Arrington. That's a good old school callback to that company that we don't mention. We also got to say hi to Sidewalk Closed. What's going on, Sidewalk Closed? And Devin, how are you guys? How are you doing? Yes, that was good. Bobby Roode would spice things up. I would love to see Bobby Roode in it, but some people are not Bobby Roode fans in here. But yeah, it was good. They're great. They were a great. Both color spots were accidents. That is true. But yeah, there were some great spots in the match as well. But I think overall the match is long and drawn out. But we're gonna say, hi Gecko Girl as well. We're gonna go jump over to Tom first and see what he thought about this match. But yeah, so we have AJ retaining via disqualifying himself by hitting Samoa Joe with a chair.
The ending was almost exactly as I thought it would be. It would be either disqualification or count out, so they could end in Hell in a Cell. I think I texted both Cal and Delisha to stay classy, New York, because they were chanting "Who's your daddy?" after the "I'll be your daddy" comment by Samoa Joe. Gotta love those Brooklyn faithful there. I agree with you, Cal. This match was fine. It was a thing that happened. There were some cool spots. These two fought hard, but in the end, I'm just glad that AJ didn't win clean and do that like twice or 2 or 3 times in a row and just make it a really boring feud. At least this has a chance of being interesting. Hopefully, it ends in Hell in a Cell, in an actual cell. That would be cool.
Yeah. And like, will AJ ever get a main event match? They call it a main event, but the main event, like CM Punk says, is the last match of the night. And let's shout out CM Punk because I'm wearing his shirt. But the last match is the main event. You can't say you have 4 main events and it's like spread out throughout the main event is the last match of the night. So will AJ? I always joke, AJ Styles can be the only match on the card, and he still won't be the main event because it'll have a Roman Reigns like promo at the end of the night. So that's how I feel. I feel so bad for AJ Styles. I thought he's put up a great run as a champion. Will he ever get his due? I mean, as a champion. I know they give him a long run, but will he get a spot in a pay-per-view? We also got to say hi to Tachi Channel saying that you are a Brooklyn faithful. But let me just point out, big pay-per-views, like the big 4 pay-per-views, draw a lot of foreign attendees. So Who's Your Daddy is a very famous UK chant. Just to say, there's a lot of foreign people that come to these pay-per-views for the big 4. All right. Delisha, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, even though the match wasn't as fast-paced as maybe some in the past, I'm not sure if it's due to Joe's knee injury anymore, if that's slowing him down, or if it's just him getting old. I don't know. But I feel like that didn't really affect me with this match because I feel like this didn't need that fast-pacedness based on the storyline we were being presented with, just with Samoa just being this dick towards AJ and his family, and then AJ just not taking it anymore. We kind of needed that ending for this storyline. People were comparing it to not to bring NXT back up again, but Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, where it's getting really personal, and it's 2 friends getting really personal because they know each other so well, so they know what buttons to push to end it, resulting in this chaotic, dangerous, all-out brawl of a feud. Which they did do with Shinsuke and AJ, but again, they couldn't really bring that personal background to it, even though they have history. Is more of a work history where these 2 were friends or are friends who know each other very well, so they know how to play off of each other, which is probably why this feud is going better than the last one. So I really did like Joe just being Joe, and I do hope, like Tom said, it accumulates at Hell in a Cell, in a Hell in a Cell, as the way that they're presenting the storyline. That's how it should. That's chapter should end, and I mean, this is. I don't know how far along this will ever happen, but I would kind of love to just see just a back and forth from the mic between Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens, because I feel like that would just be just good television to watch. But I digress. But yeah, I mean, match wasn't like the greatest, but it wasn't like the worst. It was fairly straightforward, with the ending elevating it to a good match.
All right, so I'm going to pose a question to both of you. I'll go to Tom first. Quickly, who do you think is going to be the person to beat AJ Styles? Because I think he's having a rather long run now, and I was going to pose the same question for Brock Lesnar, but we'll get to that point when we get to it. But currently, since AJ Styles retained, though it was via DQ and no one can see the match again, who do you think is going to be the person to beat AJ Styles?
I think I'll go with Joe. I think Joe's gonna take him down. He's paid his dues. He's gotten close a few times on the Raw side, so like AJ before him, I think he's gonna follow the same path of getting super close multiple times over on Raw, and then come to SmackDown and just dominate.
All right, same question to Alicia.
When does the video game come out?
October.
And when Hell in a Cell?
September.
In
4 weeks.
Don't say Ronda Rousey because she's a secret character in the game.
Oh, jeez. I was actually going to go with Joe because I feel like it's time for a heel champion. Especially one who's like really good. I mean, AJ's good on the mic, don't get me wrong, but I'm kind of getting bored with him. It's almost kind of like the same thing every time. But I'm ready for something new and fresh. So I feel like Joe could bring that. I don't think there's really anyone else on the SmackDown card at this point in time who I can see being elevated to the status. If they put it on Randy Orton, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but it would not be good. So, but I hope it's Joe. Joe deserves it.
I think I should hide if they put it on Randy Orton.
You know, it's funny because you bring that up, and I was thinking when you brought up the video game, I'm like, wait, you're gonna mention Rey Mysterio because it could be Rey Mysterio since he's a character in the game, you know, unlockable character in the game for the thing. But you know, I would pose the same people in the chat. The question in the chat: who do you guys think is gonna be the person to beat AJ Styles for the championship? Is it Samoa Joe? Maybe, but I don't see him being a good worker anymore, as we saw from this match. I mean, he put in a good match, but I don't think he has it. That's a good answer, Big Time.
I actually just pulled up the roster myself. I could see The Miz doing it.
Oh, yeah.
I want The Miz to do it. That would be fantastic if The Miz did it. But Big Time brings up a great answer. Andrade Cien Almas could do it. That'd be cool too. But I think, yeah, The Miz, man. The Miz deserves it. He deserves it. And if he gets it, that'll be fantastic. I don't want to see Joe do it. And I think if the game comes out in October, I think they have to have AJ hold the championship. Because if he loses it, they're like, oh, our champion who just lost has won the belt. I mean, lost the belt is the cover athlete. I don't know. I'd rather see.
What does that matter?
Just for sales. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh no, I can definitely see Andrade being champion. That's why I put my note at this time. They're not pushing him for that right now, but I can definitely see Andrade. He's pretty good, especially with Zelina on the mic for him. I'm always behind that dude.
I also agree with the choice of The Miz because it's especially it would really help tie into the whole. It would really help add a new element to the Miz Daniel Bryan feud.
That's what's gonna happen. That's what I was gonna say. I like Big Time's thought. So Samoa Joe AJ Styles beats Samoa Joe probably maybe again at Hell in a Cell, and if he does lose, he'll get a rubber match and win it again at the next October pay-per-view, whatever it is. Miz will have maybe another match with Daniel Bryan. If he wins, he'll have to fight him again. Then Miz will elevate himself to the main event status again, win the belt, and then Daniel Bryan will beat him for the belt at Royal Rumble or WrestleMania, whatever they want to do again. And if he doesn't die by then, because I hope he dies by then, but he probably won't, or he gets injured again and ends his career. But yeah, we have Hulk Hogan. Sky says Hulk Hogan will beat AJ Styles, and Oddship Channel says Jake the Snake will beat AJ Styles. So who knows? That could happen at a Raw Rewind, whatever they do. But yeah, never thought about it. It'd be smart to ingrain their story into the game's canon. I don't know what it means. All right, and Abyss will come back. That'll be funny. Abyss comes back and does it a three-way. Okay, then it's just that other brand that we don't really care about. All right, so we have a quick segment to talk about, and we'll go to our resident Elias. I couldn't think of another. Where's that noise? Is that yours? I think because Tom's on mute.
I guess. I don't know. What does it sound like?
It's like whoop, 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 like that. I don't know what it is. Anyway,
I don't know what that is.
We'll go to our Elias. I can't think of another name with E, but our Elias man. We're gonna talk about the Elias segment, Tom Zambino, real quick, because that's all it was real quick.
He tried to play guitar. It broke. He walked away. Thing was wasted. Next question.
Okay, that's all I want to hear. He also cursed though. He did curse. That was caught. Remember, hot mics. So he cursed. All right, which brings us to the match that we two of us think that might be, or three of us think might be the next champion or person to beat AJ Styles is The Miz versus Daniel Bryan. I'm not a big Daniel Bryan fan. Big Time agrees that they're wasting Elias. They break the bar. Cesaro will face him. Okay. All right. Cesaro, that'd be a good answer too. Yeah. All right. So, Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. This is a. What is that noise? Weird.
I don't know.
Do you hear that, Tom? Are you watching TV? Maybe it's the TV. It's like the TV going off. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, so Daniel Bryan fought The Miz. It was a pretty slow match. A lot of people thought this was the match of the night. I thought it was good. There's a lot of stiff hits that Entertainer was pointing out, and Big Time were also pointing out in our group chat last night. Yeah, there were a lot of stiff shots. And I don't know if it was real, if it's frustration, whatever's going on. But, I did not want to see – I dislike Daniel Bryan. I don't understand why people like Daniel Bryan. But I really feel The Miz is undervalued, especially for how much respect he brought back to the IC title, because he took great pride in the IC title. So I feel like he deserves a bigger title, like the WWE Championship. So I really want to see him win, and I kind of want him to win cleanly just to end it all. But we knew that wasn't going to happen, and we knew that Daniel Bryan was going to get frustrated and then probably reach into a place that we can't see him, want to see him go to. Or I would like to see him go there, but other people who are Daniel Bryan fans want to see him go dark and come back like crazy and all that kind of stuff. And but yeah, that's what happens is a good back and forth match, and then finally Miz went there. Maurice dropped something. Miz was a gentleman, picked it up. He actually accidentally turned around, and Daniel Bryan headbutted Miz's fist, got knocked out by the object that Miz picked up from Maurice's hand. Maurice in Miz's hand. Miz returned it like a gentleman to Maurice, then pinned him cleanly for the win. So Miz won the match very cleanly. Nothing shady about the match at all. And Miz should go on to have no other match with Daniel Bryan ever again. So, Delisha, your thoughts?
Sorry, Cal. There's going to be another match. Yeah, it was pretty solid. Again, much like the Joe and Andy Styles match, the promo and storyline with it elevated it. It's amazing how that happens when there's actual character to a story, how that elevates a match. WWE, pay attention to what you're doing. But I thought it was pretty solid. I think, I don't know if I was telling to you or Tom or both, that I feel like The Miz had to win this match to get to another match, because if Daniel Bryan won, there would have been no other point to The Miz going back after him. At least at this point, it's Bryan chasing Miz in order to prove that he is as good as people are telling him he is. It was pretty solid. It wasn't their best match by far, but they did some solid work. The near falls and the near submissions were pretty good. They were selling each other's moves pretty well. And I thought Maurice was going to get more involved, because I just like Maurice. So I'd like to see her on my television as much as possible. But pretty solid. I'm just waiting to see the next one to see if that would be better.
Tom, thoughts?
Well, like Delisha said, the storyline made this match. There was a lot of stiff blows, which was actually pretty interesting, because that made it a little more emotional, got you a little more invested into it. I'm not a huge fan of Daniel Bryan or The Miz for that matter. They're both pretty good. Miz is damn entertaining, so it was good to see him win. So they didn't like waste this storyline only running it a few weeks. Us getting a little more of this heated rivalry. I know we've had like years in the past, but as far as this particular build, it's only been like 3 or 4 weeks. It's nothing. Go a little bit farther. Get to Hell in a Cell. Are we gonna have all the matches in Hell in a Cell? Because I think they should.
They should, but they won't.
And they probably shouldn't, because that would be a terrible idea to put Daniel Bryan in that.
Oh, that'd be great for me. But yeah, I think a lot of the consensus was that this was one of the best build-ups of the matches for the evening. The entire evening is one of the best build-ups for all of it. I think Delisha and I are talking about how I once again bring up NXT again, but NXT has better promos, like build-up promos for them. But I think in the last pay-per-view or 2 pay-per-views ago, we saw a really great build-up. I think it might have been the Nia Jax Alexa Bliss one that we said was a really good build-up promo. I forgot what it was. We said one build-up promo was better than the actual match itself. I can't remember what it was, but some of the thoughts in chat, I agree with Arrington. Maybe seeing Elias versus good old Double J. That would be a good match. Miz is one of the top guys in the WB, says Big Time Gaming. Sky says this was the most straight-laced match of the night. Miz was the Miz, Daniel Bryan was Daniel Bryan, nothing really jaw-dropping. And everyone says it's a clean finish. It was a fun match that went hard according to Entertaining 45. And welcome, Cool Man Gaming. Oh, I said that, Arrington. I said John Morrison should come back, and that would be cool to see, have Starship Pain and all that. Yeah, John Morrison should come back and screw Daniel Bryan or something like that, or maybe The Miz. Who knows? But you know what? I said that should be happening, and that would be cool. But yeah, that was a good match. I hope The Miz gets more elevation and Daniel Bryan gets buried, literally. That's it. Next match, we'll go to Tom Zambino, because I know he loves elaborating on matches. So here's a match that you can elaborate a lot about. The Demon King, Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin. In depth, go into what happened in this match.
A dude came out in face paint and stomped the guy.
That's pretty much all that happened. So as we know, when Finn Balor goes into demon mode, his overall rating is raised up by at least, I think, 4 points it is or something like that. So obviously he's unbeatable. You know, only person who could beat him is like 1994 John Cena or whatever it is, or 2004 John Cena. Yeah, 2004 John Cena. What am I saying? 94. Like 2004 John Cena. Probably last year Roman Reigns. You know, those like 96 overall rated wrestlers can beat 94 rated Finn Balor. But yeah, he came back. Demon King crushed Baron Corbin. It's pretty stupid. They're wasting him. And we're gonna go to deletion in a second. But actually, channel says they should bring back the NWO. It's already happening. Entertain says. iShape says, oh, snap. Big Time says, no more NWO. And, yeah, they recorded a promo touring the Indies at the moment. Okay. And welcome back, Typical. All right, go ahead, Delisha. Your thoughts on this match?
At first, I was very upset because I didn't think Baron Corbin was the person to bring the demon out on. He wasn't worth it. You've already beaten this man. Why do you need the demon to beat him again? But upon reflection, though I did like that for once we didn't have to advertise the demon being on the card. This was a total surprise, and I do get it. It's SummerSlam, one of the big four. It's in Brooklyn. And like I said in the chat last night, it reinvigorated the crowd again. So because they haven't seen the demon in almost a year. So kudos for them for handling that without advertising it, which they would normally do. I will say, if this is the maybe not the I'm pushing not the right word, but like the catalyst of getting Finn more into some title picture, or at least to make him look more credible again, even if it is back to smiley face Finn, at least let him kick it into that second gear to be a little bit more ruthless in his matches, per se, to where we can still get the demon sporadically and still be Finn, and we can get some sort of compromise between the fans and WWE, because Finn is just so beloved by, it seems, everyone. He always gets cheered when he comes out, and they love his interactive entrance. So hopefully, big fingers crossed, that Finn is going to start climbing up that ladder, even if it's just for the IC title right now. I'd be happy with that.
Interesting you say that.
And also, I think part of the storyline of the match was that Baron Corbin was not expecting to face the Demon King version of Finn Balor. He was expecting to face Finn Balor the man, not Finn Balor the Demon King.
Yeah. Exactly. See, that's why he wasn't prepared. He didn't know he had every move ready for the Finn Balor, but not for the Demon King Finn Balor, because that's completely different. He adds a few pounds because of the paint that's on him and stuff. He's got those tassels that make him more aerodynamic as he walks to the ring, so he's less winded by the time he gets to the ring. That kind of stuff. But yeah, so to bring up in the chat, Corbin versus Balor should have been a pre-show match. I agree with you, Big Time Gaming. Demon Finn was a waste of a gimmick, and would you like to see him in the big title picture? Big Time says, he's going against Roman Reigns tonight. So could that be a big match? I don't know. Did Roman Reigns win the championship? We'll get to that in a little while. So that's pretty much it, our thoughts for that match. We'll go on to our next match of the evening, which was, I don't even really remember this. I thought this was the match of the night because of all the dancing that happened at the beginning of the match with the taunting. It was our U.S. champion Shinsuke Nakamura against the Brother Nero version of Jeff Hardy, and we'll give it to our Hardy expert, Alicia. What do you think of this match?
it pretty much went the way it should have. Everyone knows I'm like one of the biggest Jeff Hardy marks, but even I know he doesn't need the title. He's just so over it. He could sell a shoestring. I don't know. Um, I did, I did like him and Nakamura like mocking each other because they're both pretty much kind of similar in like the fan aspect. They're very I guess you could say charismatic. I don't know. They do have ring presence, whether it's Hardy with his either high flying moves or his face paint artistic style, or Shinsuke doing Shinsuke things. The crowd just seems to love it, and then they love seeing them mock each other. It was pretty fun. We saw Shinsuke with I don't even know what to call it. It was like he was almost like going back in the ring, but he like twisted himself to kick Jeff back in the face. I don't know I don't even know how to explain it, but I thought it was pretty cool. But of course, like the big spot of the night, which would also probably be the turning point, was Jeff missing the swanton off the ring apron. Because we know we didn't actually miss that. It was part of the plan. I guess it beats falling onto a ladder. I don't know. But of course, with Jeff, especially in a pay-per-view match, there's going to be some high spot that he's either going to land or miss on. And once he hit that, I was like, oh. I mean, I already knew Shinsuke was going to win, but I was like, yeah, Shinsuke's winning. And so Shinsuke won, if you didn't get that, which I thought was the right decision. Shinsuke really needs that belt. It's elevated him so much that he has a match later in the show than AJ. So that's pretty interesting than what we saw maybe even a few weeks ago or even the last pay-per-views. But like I said, Right Man won, and then everyone's favorite Viper came out to do absolutely nothing. I don't know what that was. Like, not even like for a storyline. I don't know what the hell. Oh, in case if anyone just fell asleep after that, after the Shinsuke won, Randy Orton's music hit. He walks down to the ring all hyped up like he's gonna hit somebody. Although I did like again Shinsuke when Randy Orton's music hit, he has this expression like what now? I just thought that was funny. And so Randy Orton walks down to the ring like he's about to come in and like hit someone, and then just turn around and walks away. And everyone's going around like, okay. That was even worse than him staring from behind the backstage area on SmackDown last week, which was again another totally thing that was like, what are you doing?
Well, we do have some
good for a guy that's apparently being investigated for inappropriate hazing behavior.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Oh, actually, we do have some great banter in the chat also about that. But yeah, maybe that was just for him to get a paycheck or something, and like, hey, I'm here, so get that pop and then leave. But in the chat, Arrington says he wants to see the Aleister Black versus the Demon King Finn Balor. I'm like, why don't you throw in Bray Wyatt also? Sky said he'd be impressed with Demon King Finn Balor if he had a different moveset. It's like if his looks changed, so should his moveset. Kind of like the shades of when Mick Foley came out as Cactus Jack, Dude Love, and Mankind. When he first did that, they did have different movesets somewhat, with different finishers, but eventually he just melded them all together, which is kind of stupid. They should have kept it as 3 different wrestlers. But Entertainment probably has one of the quotes of the night saying that they hurt more with the increased stats because he's now a Demon King. The moves hurt more. Even though they're the same moves, they hurt more. And Big Time Game is talking about when he says that was brutal. He's talking about the swanton to the outside. That was great. In slow motion, you actually see his lips go like blah, 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 afterwards, like in slow motion replay, which is crazy because he really hit really hard. Entertains the Viper wants to shake everyone's hand, but then Orton realized he had to pee, according to Big Time Gaming. But yeah, it was great, man. Like it was. I don't know how I felt about that, but the match was pretty good. I really liked the taunting in the beginning where he was making fun of Jeff Hardy, and then Jeff Hardy made fun of him. That was great. That was the best part of the match, probably the best part of the evening, in my opinion. That could be my high point of the evening, but we'll get to that later. But that was funny, and like I don't know, yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about that. What about you, Tom?
So I think that the taunting was by far the best part of the match, and it was definitely Jeff taunting Shinsuke that was the best. Because frankly, I'm kind of tired of Shinsuke's ring crap too, like all the spastic movements on the way down and all the spastic movements in the ring. It's getting tired at this point. Do something different, at least. If you're going to make all those weird spastic moves, at least change it up once in a while. He's literally got the same choreographed shit every time. Every time.
Well, he did add a neck roll. He did add a neck roll at WrestleMania, I think it was. Was it WrestleMania or whatever? He had it in the neck roll, so that's new.
So fancy. So the one last thing I will say about this match, and it's a question I'm posing to both of you. What do you guys think happens first? Tom Cruise has to stop doing crazy stunts in Mission Impossible, or Jeff Hardy finally retires or shatters every bone in his body?
Oh, it's definitely Jeff Hardy retiring. Tom Cruise.
Jeff Hardy probably.
Tom Cruise will never stop until he's buried underground and reanimates as something else. He will not stop.
Either Jeff Hardy's had more drugs, or Tom Cruise has way better drugs.
Yes.
Well, Tom Cruise is a vampire. He's drinking that youth blood, so that's what's going on.
See you later, Arrington. By the way, yeah. So that was good. I thought it was a decent match. I did really like the taunting. Which will bring us to the next match, which I don't really want to talk about, but I must, because it was my number one WWE wife, the WWE Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss against Ronda Rousey, who I was a huge fan of in UFC, but bringing her into WWE and giving her a big push all of a sudden is great, I guess, just for the sales. But making Alexa Bliss look as weak and pathetic as they did, I mean, Alexa Bliss has beaten Nia Jax. She's beaten like the likes of a lot of people, and she's the first ever Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion. You know, she went to the Elimination Chamber and won, like, you know, as a champ and left as a champ, right? Or something like that. So I don't see why she just got destroyed. I know they want to make Ronda look strong, but don't make Alexa look that weak.
Want to know why?
Fight. Why?
Want to know why?
Why?
Yeah, she beat Nia Jax before, but you know what? She also got demolished by Nia Jax several times. So this is nothing new for Alexa. She got demolished because she can take it. She can get demolished and be just fine tomorrow night. Or
that
tonight.
Is true. That is true. So I'll give you that. Yeah, but the thing is, the armbar that she does. Remember, Alexa Bliss is double jointed. They made a huge big deal about the disarmor her, not doing anything to her in SmackDown when Becky Lynch used to put into her. So why the same move now that? And the worst part is that Stephanie McMahon stayed in that the armbar for God knows how long. You know, and Alexa Bliss tapped out in a few seconds, which is so stupid. So that's why Ronda Rousey is the new Raw SmackDown Women's Champion. I was really upset about that. I mean, I figured she might win, but the way she won, I wasn't happy about. Entertain says this one weird thing was that there's so many squash matches, which is true. I agree. And the flight of the Money in the Bank. Oh, the flight. Okay, yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. Big Time disagrees with Ronda Rousey holding the title, but the two big time moves of the night, as Big Time would say, the big time moves of the night were the Swanton Miss as well as the Money in the Bank throw. That was great. So, Delisha, what'd you think? What'd you think of this match?
I could not get into this match only because the day before, as Tom messaged me, Trish, and they announced on WWE Twitter or WWE.com, probably both, that Trish Stratus and Alexa Bliss will be facing each other at Evolution. And then once we heard that, me and Tom were like, well, I guess we know who's dropping the title at SummerSlam. So I couldn't get into this match one way or another. Because
really,
but why not have her as a champion against Trish? Why not have the old school champion versus the new school champion? Why not?
I don't know. Like, they could have logically made that happen, but we know how WWE works. They don't always do the more creative path. And I like Ronda. I'm just like you. I'm not really into her big push right now. Like, I get it on the business side. She's selling tickets. She can sell merch and all that jazz, yada yada yada. But I'm like, come on, dude. Like, I don't know. She hasn't like grabbed me. I'm proud that she's able to grasp so much of the wrestling aspect in such a short amount of time. But her as a champion, I'm gonna give her the benefit of doubt as I do with everybody. Like, well, I'll watch her tonight or tomorrow, whenever I'm gonna watch her. See what's going on. I'll watch her over the next few weeks until her next big match or whatever. But again, like you said, I don't like how they made Alexa Bliss like little ragdoll. I mean, she is a little ragdoll, but she could have gotten a little bit more offense than that. She's one of those. She's almost like Kevin Owens. She's a wily heel who can navigate herself out of bad situations. I don't know. And then seeing the Bellas out there and then them getting booed was
God, yeah. That's stupid.
I mean, I don't have any hate towards the Bellas. It's just like they didn't need to be in the ring. They could have stayed at ringside and gave them a high five or whatever. But yeah, but you know, they sell TV shows and whatever. But yeah.
before we jump to Tom though, like I think Tom and I were talking about last night. Tom actually texted me saying, "Hey, she did look good doing it. Like she did have some great suplexes and stuff like that." I'm sure Tom's going to elaborate on that in a second, but yeah, Ronda did do good ring work. I have to give.
Oh yeah, no, her in ring performance is great. I'm just not sold on her as a champion and to carry a mic. Those are her weak points. I mean, not the mic part is her weak point that she needs to really develop more. Whereas kind of Carmella kind of has like the opposite effect. She's good as the heel on the mic, but needs to work on some her in ring work. So that's just interesting. Like I said, I'm gonna give it a benefit of the doubt. I'm definitely gonna. I'm proud of her as a wrestler. I just need her to develop more of that full package as a champion should be. But then again, Nia's not that great on the mic, so I'm talking myself in the corners.
All right, go ahead, Tom.
This is awesome. I actually get to be the positive one here because this match was awesome. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this. It was an ass whooping, sure, and they're mentioning in the chat how many squashes there were. But guess what? All the squash matches allow WWE to have all these folks on the card, and me to still be able to go to bed on time. So more squash matches if they're gonna just make this card chock full of matches. But anyway, the one thing I will say about the armbar is obviously this was an ass whooping, and the armbar was the showcase. I will say that Ronda is the only person I've seen in a long time that actually makes an arm finisher look intimidating. No one else, like when Becky twists someone's arm back, I don't care. She's not pulling that hard. You can tell she's not pulling that hard because she's working the shoulder, and it's really easy to pop a shoulder out, and so she doesn't want to do that. So no one really pushes arm finishers that hard or has many arm finishers because they look dumb. But her working the arm right before the actual arm bar, that was cool. So we're just working that violently right before.
She's a professional fighter, and that's her signature move. So
yeah, exactly. I think her and maybe Lesnar. I think Lesnar's done a few arm finishers. Her and Lesnar have been the only two that have made the arm finishers look intimidating, and that's because they're fighters. So I definitely give her credit for that. Her finisher is actually intimidating, unlike AJ Styles. So this match was thoroughly entertaining. The post-match stuff was pretty much garbage. I tuned out when did something else because it was pretty dumb. But I found the whole thing to be damn entertaining.
And in the chat, we have Big Time saying that Ronda, I think he's referring to Ronda, which is she has two faces, angry and confused, so she needs much more work. And Entertain says they let a lot of that you said to Tom's point where Tom said that, they had a lot of squash matches and they got everyone in, but then Entertain also says that they did also leave a lot of people off the card too, like such as Bobby Roode and all those people. So, and Bobby Lashley. I guess if your name was Bobby, you couldn't be on the show yesterday. That's probably what it was. So that's the problem with WWE. There's too many superstars, not enough spotlight. That's why Big Time I liked having the brand split. The problem with that is that we'd have AfterMat every other week because there was a pay-per-view every other week, which kind of took away from the glamour of the pay-per-views and kind of wore us out. But it also was nice to see people get spotlights. More wrestlers get spotlights. So it's like a double-edged sword in that sense. So I guess that brings us to our main event and all the things that lead into it. So we'll go for our Brock talk. He is back for it. We'll go to our man, Tom Zambino, who is our Brock Lesnar correspondent, our very own Renee Young, the Road Raider himself.
All right. So did you say you wanted me to go through the build too? Because that's a lot of work.
No, just like what happened at the beginning of the match. What happened, with the Raw,
So my actual favorite guy, Braun, came out and declared that he was going to try and he was going to cash in when the match was finished, and he was going to stand right there and wait. Totally not a Chekhov's gun right there. So they started, and they were looking at him the entire time. I think I texted both Cal and Delisha that I thought they were going to Goldberg Lesnar. I thought Roman was going to run out there and Superman punch and spear his way to victory that quickly. Would have been kind of cool, actually. Even though the Superman punch is super dumb. But Then Lesnar started getting his finishers in. It was just a finisher fight, as you expect from any Lesnar match. Suplexes and finishers. Midway through the match, Roman runs into Strowman. Lesnar was like, hey, hitting this guy's a pretty good idea. F5s him on the side, starts whipping his ass a little bit with weapons, chucks the briefcase away, comes back in, gets speared for a very anticlimactic finish, and Strowman just kind of lays there dead because nothing is good in this world, and Vince hates everyone and wants us all to be miserable.
Okay, so what I was gonna say is like, yeah, if Braun is built up to be so strong, and like they threw ladders on him, even the pre-show, wherever they build up for the Owens fight and all that, they threw ladders onto him. I think they had a comet hit Braun Strowman during one segment, like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park came and like bit down on him, and he was still okay. Why after one F5? Exactly, Thanos threw a moon at him. Like, why after one F5 and like a few briefcase shots, he can't get up and fight later? Like that, it wasn't that much later. Like he could have got up. He had to walk like 20 feet to the top of the ramp. He doesn't even need the briefcase. You can like, I'm cashing in the thing that's at the top of the ramp. Like, come on, like and that was just an end. Like you said, I didn't expect it to end there. After one spear, he had to hit like 3 spears just to beat the Undertaker and whatever it was, and he hit like 14 spears at WrestleMania, and he still didn't win. He speared him through the freaking thing at Greatest Royal Rumble, still didn't win. 1 spear, like I know he hit 2 spears earlier, and the third one was turned into a Kimura or whatever, or a guillotine. I thought it was kind of dumb. It was very anticlimactic. But that was my thoughts, and I was hoping Brock would retain because I love seeing Brock as champion because hey, he shows up only once in a while, and I think it's hilarious. It's just funny. Like I like those people like who are kind of that. Like, I like his cocky, arrogant attitude and all that, and it's funny. And it's kind of homage to the old school when they have they only had the big 4 pay-per-views. So the title would only be those few, every 3 or 4 months they had the pay-per-views, and that's when the title would be defended. And I liked that. It brought prestige back to the title. I mean, you could have a champion that actually honors the championship, which would also bring prestige, but I kind of like the idea of it wasn't every pay-per-view that it was defended kind of thing. I thought it loses some glamour. What do you think, Felicia? As I do that, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Felicia.
Yeah, I just thought it was a shame that they started giving Brock more leeway and personality at the end of this championship run. I feel like if we would have gotten some of that throughout his run, I might have been more happy, but I, at this point, just is really sick and tired of Brock or the lack of Brock. I don't know. Like, I was never a big fan of him in WWE or UFC otherwise, but I don't watch UFC, so I guess that doesn't matter. But it was like, I didn't mind the title not being defended. It was just the lack of Brock presence, whether it's him physically there or just in a promo or whatever. I don't care. Shoot it on your phone and just send it in. I don't know. But, like, show me something. But we weren't getting that until, like, this feud. This is the third one, the third feud that they gave us. So I don't know what took them so long. But by then, it was too late, at least for me as a fan, to be into it. I'm with you. I'm like, why couldn't Strowman just get up in the ring and be like, hey, ref, that thing over there, cashing it in, just ring the bell? I mean, it's physically in the building. It's physically inside, So, I don't know. Yeah, that whole thing was just WWE trolling the fans. Or, as my friend Matt would say, they brought him out in the beginning to keep the fans in their seat till the end so they didn't leave. So, good on you, WWE, for keeping the fans in the seats and not leaving early.
I want to say hi to Phantom OG for joining us. This is our WWE pay-per-view recaps show. Sky's here, so let me retract the link. So Entertained says, was it Entertained or was it Big Time? Big Time says the sole reason that what's his face is not the champion, Braun Strowman, is because the ramp. The ramp is way too long. Have you seen the length of the ramps? Not like that WrestleMania ramp that one year. It was like 8 football fields long when they had to run down, so that was cool.
Remember that time John Cena ran for like 5 minutes down that ramp?
Yeah, exactly.
I think he was out of breath by the time he got to the end. I
want to see, back in the day when Ultimate Warrior, when he ran out, that would have been quite to see, because he ran full speed, came in and shook the ropes and everything. That would have been great to see. R.I.P. Ultimate Warrior. He was my favorite back then. So, but that would have been great to see. But yeah, so if Sky is here, we're going to go. That's pretty much going to wrap up the evening for all the matches. We're going to go to our caller, Sky Inc., and he's going to tell us what he thought for the low point of the evening, the high point, and the overall grade. What's going on, Sky? How did you enjoy? And thank you for joining us on AfterMat. How did you enjoy the pay-per-view?
It was all right. No, I mean, it was good. It just wasn't what I was expecting it to be honest. I mean, there was points that I liked, and then there was points that I just really, it was too, in my opinion, too predictable. You kind of knew Charlotte was going to win the belt. Even though you wanted Becky to win, you just kind of knew that was coming. AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe, you kind of knew it was going to be one on DQ. And the only problem I had with that is, and I know this is supposed to be forbidden from the channel, like you were saying and everything, NXT again. But, I mean, if we're going off of, I'm not even really going off of NXT, if we're just going off of AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura, when that first came to the head, it was the same exact thing where it was like AJ had the belt, and of course the only way that people was winning or even whatever was DQ. And everything. It happened a lot with Shinsuke to the point where it became so stale. Now you have another old call-up where an old rivalry sparks up, and the only way that AJ can retain his title is, again, through DQ. I understand what Tom was saying as far as, like, oh, you know, this was actually pretty good, and understandably so. At the same time, however, I mean, because you don't want him to come off as just this unstoppable guy that wins clean every single time, but I kind of tired of seeing him win by DQ every single time he goes up against somebody who's potentially really good and everything. And Samoa Joe is really good. Shinsuke Nakamura is really good, but you're putting him in a position to where it looks like the only way he can retain his title is by DQ, and I just don't like that taste that they're leaving in my mouth with that, because AJ is a great in-ring performer, and I believe in his skill. I don't think that it would be wrong for them to do that with him. The Shinsuke Nakamura fight versus Matt Hardy, it was okay. I feel like they're not really using Shinsuke to his full potential, mainly due to the fact that they just don't want him to kill anybody. And I understand that. But at the same time, it's just, you know, I don't know. It's really underwhelming. I want it to be something entertaining. Is there anybody on the card right now that can actually go up against Shinsuke and give him a run for his money? Yes, there's a lot of people that can do that. We went back to the Braun Strowman versus KO thing. Again, like I said, I don't know. Like I said, Braun Strowman is a great guy and KO is a great guy, but I'm not going to sit up there and believe for 1 second that KO would not give Braun Strowman a run for his money. KO is a force to be reckoned with, and yet they're going to make him out like he's just this weak individual. KO's been going up against a lot of tough guys, guys bigger than him, and all of a sudden you go up against Braun. The same Braun that went up against Finn Balor not too long ago, and Finn Balor gave him a run for his money, enough to where Braun like showed him respect by lifting him up off the mat. I mean, yeah, he still beat Finn Balor, but Finn Balor was giving him a run for. You mean KO couldn't do that? Come on now. And KO has beat Finn Balor plenty of times. So I don't know. It was just really weird to me. Overall, this entire pay-per-view was up and down for me. It had its good points. I guess my favorite match, and I know I'm probably going to get a lot of whatever for this, but my favorite match would have to be Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins. I'm sorry, but I love Seth Rollins and I love Dolph Ziggler. I love both of them. I love The Miz, and I would have said that Miz versus Daniel Bryan is my favorite match, but I hate Daniel Bryan as well. So I can't really sit up there and say, oh, well, you know, I hate Daniel Bryan. I'm sorry. They make him out to be this underdog character. It is supposed to make me feel bad for him. It doesn't. It just makes you look weak at the end of the day. I'm sorry. I'm not buying your underdog, gimmick and everything. It's been going on way too long. I would rather have seen Miz go up against anybody else other than Daniel Bryan. I think it would have been a lot more entertaining, and it would have showcased Miz for being the true awesome heel that he is. He's just that guy that you love to hate. But yeah, that was my high. My low, of course, obviously was Becky Lynch and Charlotte. What's her name? To me personally, I don't have a problem with Charlotte. I just felt like it was Becky's time to shine, and they took that away from her literally for no reason. That was going straight for Becky versus Carmella, and everybody was cool with that. Then from out of nowhere, like a Randy Orton RKO, Charlotte just gets put in there, and it's just like, oh, yeah, okay, well, guess what? If you win, Charlotte, it's a triple threat. Not only is it a triple threat, but you're pretty much guaranteed to walk out of there as the champion, because there's no way that Becky Lynch is going to be able to beat the queen, Charlotte, Carmella definitely, Charlotte absolutely. I don't like what they did with Carmella either. This was a joke character. She was the moonwalking trash talk, the same girl that came out with what's his name? Can I think of his name?
Enzo Big Cass.
No, James Ellsworth. The same girl that was coming out with James Ellsworth for a while and everything. All of a sudden now she's a force to be reckoned with. She's giving people a run for their money in the ring. And this is the same girl who had to I don't know where that came from. She went from a nobody to all of a sudden she's giving everybody in the ring, including, I don't even want to talk about that.
Asuka.
Including Asuka. Okay, I'm not going to get upset about that. All I'm saying is you can't sit up there and feed me that BS. That would be like, of course, again, let me go, James Ellsworth being this joke character. All of a sudden, you have to take seriously because he's given Roman Reigns or Finn Balor or anybody like that a run for their money. Like, really? This guy obviously started off as, whatever. So it's the same thing with Carmella. She was not, when she won the Money in the Bank, a briefcase and everything. I'm like, okay, even when she cashed it in, again, I've seen it before. I'm fine with that. But the fact that I could see if she was winning because she was getting disqualified or, finding a way to cheat to win. She was legitimately giving these people a run for the money, including Asuka. And you expect me to believe that? So putting her in a match one-on-one with Becky Lynch, I think would have been, if you're building her character up to be this awesome in-ring performer, why put a third person in there? They had been working on Becky for the longest. They finally got Becky where they wanted her to be, where she wasn't on this losing streak. You put her in this match with a newly reformed Carmella, and then you say, you know what? Hey, Charlotte just got finished getting her boob job done. Let's go ahead and put her in a match so she can showcase those things and give her doctor or plastic surgeon some screen time. No, nobody's worried about that. But not only does she come back with a fantastic new surgery and everything going on, she also gets the women's championship yet again. So for me, that match was the low point for me. And like I said, high point, Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins. I really liked the build-up. It was really entertaining. I love those two as in-ring performers and everything. I just wish they wouldn't sell Seth Rollins like he's a mid-card performer, because he is not. Nor is Dolph Ziggler. Both of them are excellent in the ring, and I wish they would main event them, because they would steal the show. They really would, but you got to...
They did main event them last pay-per-view.
Huh? Yeah.
They did main event them at the last pay-per-view.
Yeah, I want them to do that more. Don't give me Roman Reigns. Don't give me Brock Lesnar. Don't give me Braun Strowman or anybody like that. They're great, don't get me wrong. Well, not Brock Lesnar. I hate his guts. But when it comes to, like I said, Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler, I think they're great, and I think they work well together. But those are my thoughts. Overall, I would say...
I would say that Vince loves his big men. That's why we don't see that.
Oh yeah,
your overall grade, please.
And they need to. And as far as I think somebody had pointed out in the chat, they said they really don't have anybody that would have been able to take on Braun Strowman because of how strong they've made him out to be. Give Bobby Lashley his time to shine. Stop putting him up against Sami Zayn and all these other nobodies that you know isn't going to give him anything. Bobby Lashley could definitely give Braun Strowman a run for his money. Am I saying that Bobby Lashley could beat him? No, that's not what I'm saying. But I would say it would make for a more entertaining match than Braun Strowman versus, well, pretty much anybody 500 pounds lighter than him. I mean, come on now. Let's give him somebody that can really... And I think Bobby Lashley could do it, honestly. I'm not saying that he could beat it. I'm saying I think he could give us a more entertaining match, is what I mean by that. So, Braun Strowman, they need to do something with this character other than saying, oh, we're going to give you a special tag team partner tonight. We're not going to tell you who it is. We all know who it's going to be. We all know who it's going to be. All of a sudden, Braun! And he comes, everybody knew who was coming. They're guaranteed to win the match. What in the world would Braun Strowman be teaming up with Finn Balor to take on Kevin Owens and whomever and everything? No, come on now. You got to heal. I don't know. Anyway, that's not what this pay-per-view is about. Overall, like I said, I would give this pay-per-view a strong B.
All right. Well, that is Sky Inc. If you want to give us your where we can find you, your plugs and all that, can you do that now before we let you go?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube at Sky Inc. You can also find me on Twitter at MoonKnight1111.
And he also has a new channel on YouTube, The World Needs More Sky. So we'll check it out there as well. All right, thanks a lot, Sky. We have another show coming on right after this at 9 o'clock, so we just gotta wrap it up. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. All right, we'll go to Tom Zambito now with your low, your high, and your overall grade.
I'm going to start with the high because I'm still thinking about the low, to be perfectly honest. The high was basically the ladies going ape shit. Both Becky destroying Charlotte. Yeah, I'm doing a cop out here. Both Becky destroying Charlotte and Rousey destroying Alexa. Those were both really awesome moments, and probably were some of the most entertaining bits of the entire show. But it's really sad that those most entertaining bits comprised about roughly 4 minutes of a 4-hour show. Low point, probably the abrupt ending. The fact that it just kind of ended abruptly, like you tease Braun cashing in, you don't even pan the camera down to him, like not even a pan away, not even a wide shot, nothing. Just, hey, look, Roman won now. We all go home. It was abrupt. It just seemed weird. And for the overall grade, it was okay. I'm a notoriously hard grader, so I give it a passing C+.
Alicia, and if Joe wants to get into.
Yeah. For my high point, Tom stole mine, so I'm just gonna say it again. Mainly it was Becky. It was Becky just going berserk on Charlotte because I was glad to see it. And the crowd really got behind it, so that was cool. My low point is gonna be Randy Orton wasting everybody's time by wasting W's money for playing his theme music, for him wasting energy walking to the ring, and then wasting my eyesight on him seeing him on television for a span of 30 seconds. So that was my low point. And then overall grade, I think I'm gonna give it a solid B. Like, it didn't knock me out of the park, but it wasn't like the worst thing I ever saw. So it was pretty good. It had some really good spots in all the matches, actually. And so I will give it a solid B in the hopes that a lot of these storylines play out pretty good on the ensuing SmackDown and Raws. You?
What she said for everything. Because really, I can't really think of much of a. I could think of like plenty of things that were high points because it was a pretty good overall pay-per-view. It's just that but I couldn't. So there's plenty of high points there. But as far as the low point, I definitely got to go with her with like Randy Orton's pretty much wasted appearance. Like what was that? What was that all about? I know there's supposed to be a storyline with. I know he's supposed to be some kind of like storyline, I guess, with him and Jeff Hardy, or somehow involving the U.S. Championship because of that whole one-upsmanship from a few months ago before Randy Orton went out injured. But it just didn't really make much sense, and I just didn't get it. And overall grade for the pay-per-view, I'll go very Daniel Bryan and say B+ because it did have a good flow. It had good story. It actually did have good storylines to it. Of course, it could have used. Of course, it would have been. Of course, it could have used a little more to make it an A show, but it was a good SummerSlam.
All right. Let's go ahead. For me, my low point had to be, obviously, Alexa Bliss losing. She's been the greatest women's champion since Trish Stratus. And losing the way she did. The high point probably had to be seeing Jeff Hardy do that swanton off onto the thing. Too bad he didn't really break his back. Also seeing Miz win, and he really killed Daniel Bryan. Those are all high points for me. Also, Becky Lynch's heel turn. As for the grade, it is season 2 of AfterMat, so I have to be a little harsher. I would give this a C, C-. I wasn't happy, especially because last year's pay-per-view I gave an A. I was very disappointed about all the squashes, as well as how the anticlimactic of the main event, as well as some other losses and stuff like that. So I had to give it a C. C-. So that was about it. But before we do that, before we end up the show, let's go ahead and do our plug. So we'll start with Tom Zamino over there.
You can find me meandering around southeastern Michigan. For archived footage of an old show, you can go on YouTube and check out Zed Reviews. On Twitter at RoadRaider3. And I don't know if I can say anything yet, but I may have something coming up. But you guys should all subscribe to Odd Shape channel and watch out for new stuff from them.
All right. Go ahead, Alicia, and Joe, if he has any.
Yep. Much like Tom, you can physically find me probably in bed after this, trying to get some rest. But you can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at Delicia_Renee. You can find Joe on Facebook, which we'll like to make a game of it, at Joseph P. Butler. Try add him as a friend if you can find him, because he has one of the most common names ever. And see if he'll add as a friend request. If as we keep saying, if anyone does it, let us know. We want to see. We want to know what happens, because we don't even know.
All right. And as for me, I am the People's Champ Cal. You can find me here on the Kingslayer Network, also on Twitter at KingslayerNet. The next time you'll see us is for the Hell in Cell pay-per-view, which I don't know what the exact date is, but will be the Monday on after that Hell in Cell pay-per-view. I want to thank once again.
Yeah, you'll see it September 17th after the
September 17th is okay.
When
you'll see us again. September 17th, 7:30 p.m. Eastern for that. I don't think I have anything else to mention, but besides that, I don't know if the women's pay-per-view is after that, so yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to once again thank our roving reporter, our Brock Lesnar correspondent, Tom Zamino, for joining us, and of course, the Glam is Delicia, and our fact checker from the Raptors, Joe, for joining us as well. I did come up with an outro finally, but don't forget to go check out Oddshape panel right now over on Oddshape channel. It just started, so go ahead. They're doing a Q&A today, so please go check that out. As promised, I'd mentioned them. I want to also thank Sky Inc. for calling, and as well as all the lovely people in chat that joined us too for their insights, such as Big Time Gaming and Entertain 45 for the great talk about the wrestling points and all that stuff. It was great fun, and I enjoyed talking with you guys in the chat and Discord as well as Alicia joined us last night. But remember, keep slamming the haters and grapple towards your goals. We'll see you next time on the Aftermat. See you guys.
Watch TakeOver.